Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you very much for coming along to this presentation. It's okay? Yes? Before getting down to the presentation, I'd like first to introduce myself. My name is Stéphane. I'm the project manager responsible for buying GRIFFON, Jaguar, and MEPAC. I hand it over to Lieutenant-Colonel Emmanuel, to introduce himself.
Saharan, I'm Lieutenant Colonel Emmanuel from the 3rd Marine Infantry Regiment, and I was the first chief of the operation of the 1st Battle Group deployed in Mali.
Our presentation will be 20 minutes. You will have 10 minutes for questions after. Our presentation will be on 3 parts. On the first one, I will make a presentation of the GRIFFON, describing its role in the Scorpion program and giving you some main characteristics of this multi-role armored vehicle. I will finish this first part with explaining you how we deliver the first vehicle in less than 5 years. After that, I will give the floor to Lieutenant Colonel Emmanuel, who will speak about the main aim of this presentation. This is to say the lessons learned from GRIFFON in Saharan trip. And I will finish with giving you the follow-up to be given. So let's start with the Scorpion program. In response to the growing complexity of battlefields, the French Armament General Directorate has equipped the French Army with the next generation of interconnected and armored vehicles, the Scorpion program. As you can see on the timeline on this slide, the French Army has learned through several operations conducted abroad over the last 25 years. For example, in the Ivory Coast, they needed operational mobility. In Iraq or Afghanistan, we needed more protection. And most of these operations taught the French Army that they need a full spectrum capability with a marked medium hardcore. They needed to prepare the war of tomorrow too, with digitalization and network-enabled capabilities, collaborative combat. So, what's the Scorpion program? The Scorpion program is a result of long reflections based on real experience and ambitions of these operations, as I mentioned before. It is the answer to 2 main requirements. First, changing the generation of vehicles which are worn out and obsolete. And secondly, changing the combat through network-enabled capabilities. I will speak about the 4 medium armored elements of the Scorpion program: GRIFFON, MEPAC, Jaguar, and Saharan. These 4 vehicles are all very mobile. They are mobile on road, off-road, on any harsh environments. They are very protected with a high level of survivability. They are well protected against mine, IED, improvised explosive devices, and they are all connected by integrating the CICES, the Scorpion Combat Information System. With it, they share combat information instantly. So, after introducing Scorpion, I will tell you a bit more about the GRIFFON. The French Defense Procurement Agency contracted award to a temporary grouping of companies comprised Terre, Arcus, and Thales to develop and produce the GRIFFON. There were first 4 main versions for GRIFFON: a Combat Infantry Squad 1, an artillery observation version, a medical evacuation version, and a joint command version. The first one on the left was declined in 7 variants for infantry, for supply, support, sapper engineers, snipers, dismounting mortar, and dismounting range medial missile. And on the opposite, on the right, you've got the MEPAC. It's a Griffon with roof hatches that can be opened to fire with a 120 millimeters embedded mortar. All these versions are very mobile, very protected, firepower, and very connected. So, after introducing Scorpion, after considering the concept of Scorpion and giving you some characteristics of the Griffon, I want to finish to explain you how the DGA has qualified and delivered the first vehicle in less than 5 years. In short, there were 3 main reasons. The first one, the optimization of the tests with industry and a great implication of land forces. We saved 3 years on 7 compared to a last armored vehicle, the VBCE. Secondly, we had an incremental approach. We developed new features, technical features in each version regularly. To illustrate it, the first step of qualification of the Griffon was in June 2019, and after that we added new features and we corrected technical issues in 3 hard and soft versions. And now we have annual upgrades. And the last reason is the start of the production before the qualification, accepted that vehicles were retrofitted after. Before giving our last point, the Griffon, which were sent to the Saharan strip, were qualified in a specific version, hard and soft, in April 2021. It was the projection capability of the Griffon in 2021 was a goal fixed to the project since the beginning, and we fully reached it. Before giving the floor to Lieutenant-Colonel Emmanuel, just have a look to the pictures showing the trip of the Griffon from France to Gao. First they went to port by train, then to Abidjan by boat, and finally on vehicle carriers across the Ivory Coast before arriving Gao.
Thank you, Stéphane. So, I was deployed in Mali from October 22 to last February. I will give you first a piece of context. We will have one slide on the lessons learned about what we have done there, and at the end I will like to discuss with you some challenges that we raised during this operation. So regarding the context, the battle group was composed of 4 combat units and 1 support company. 2 of the combat units were mainly equipped with Griffon, but as usual, these companies were combined. Griffon was mixed with other armored vehicles or legacy ones. The battle group had 2 main missions. The first one, escort convoys between our forward operation bases. The second one, harass the enemy. The terrain was sandy from Gao to Tombouctou and rocky in the south. During the first 2 months, temperatures were up to 50 degrees at noon, including in the vehicle without air conditioning. As the battle group was stronger than the enemy was, the latter adopted an indirect approach, that is to say, indirect fire on our bases with mortar or homemade rocket launchers, or improvised explosive devices or anti-vehicle rules on our pathways. If I had to sum up this experience in one sentence, I would say that despite the way that remains to be covered, the system is already very efficient and outclasses the legacy system of the French land force in every way. I would like to propose you to focus on the 4 words on the screen. The first one, faster. The GRIFFON CCAS couple is faster in everything. The agility of the vehicle in any environment is outstanding. It sets the pace of the maneuver. We have regularly touched the limits of the GRIFFON mobility in the sand or on a ford, but each time, in a few minutes, another GRIFFON releases the first one thanks to his traction strap without necessary intervention of a tow truck. The maneuver is also faster because the information is shared simultaneously on all the screens in every vehicle in real time. In my opinion, this is the main revolution. Until now, the chief was the only source of information for the soldiers. Now, there are screens visible for everybody in every single vehicle. The role of the leader has changed. He must control the good understanding of the info displayed on the screens. The subordinate must understand the tactic and the way to write it. Second word is further. The CCAS rely on the STCE, which is Subtactic Command Échange, which is a command network between all the communication lines. It allows elongation of the communication at the operational theater size. Our main command post was in a demo, and it communicated in data only, that is to say overlays and messages, with our units 100 kilometers away from the base, with a mix of satellite high and low frequencies. In a very close future, the GRIFFON command post with the CRK's interface will have the means of communication in the same vehicle, whereas today we still need to have several vehicles. For example, a battle group, as mine 6 months ago, needs 3 to 4 vehicles to command all the battle group. Today, the GRIFFON command post is already able to send overlays like the one you can see on the screen, thanks to the low Milkier high frequency system. Third word is sharper. The global positioning system of most vehicles associated with the details of the graphic layers allows a very interesting degree of accuracy by day and by night with a minimum of preparation. For example, the map is updated along with the maneuver, dangers, hotspots, goodways, etc. Above all, we can be certain that the observation sectors are covered by someone and the risk of friendly fire is greatly reduced. The last word is together. It is not yet what we call collaborative fight because the system does not propose semi-analyzed solution, but we are already working in a much more collective way. The tactical situation, which is the knowledge shared by all, is enhanced by all the specialist inputs, thus gradually constructing an increasingly precise situation. For example, during our mission in Tombouctou, when the IED threat was significant and the routes in the sand were harsh and rough, the base routes were prepared by the engineers and uploaded in the computer before the mission, confirmed with the wiki pattern and improved in real time if needed, without a single word on the radio set or stopping the convoy. It can be compared with the cell phone app Waze. For example, when a vehicle hits an IED, the position is immediately known and sent to the medevac helicopter within a few seconds. These 5 months in Mali have confirmed at the battalion level that the GRIFFON CCAS couple already makes it possible to outclass the rest, to accelerate the decision making, to improve coordination, and to develop collaborative warfare. Today, we are still far from what Scorpion can bring us when it will be operational. I would like to share with you some outlooks on 2 challenges. Concerning the outlook, the communication system is the core of the system, and it is still based on multiple legacy support on the vehicles. In the future, the GRIFFON command post will be able to concentrate all the information system in a single vehicle and thus exchange upwards without too much constraint. Concerning the lowest levels, comparing the platoons, the information will still have to go through very high frequency via contact radio device, which should provide twice as much bandwidth. There is no yet info valuation, that is to say, automatic, accelerated, and semi-analyzed information. The soldiers still spend time typing information on the computer, which solicits their senses instead of the reality of the combat. Info valuation backed by complete electronic system will make it happen. This brings us 2 major challenges. The first one, integration. GRIFFON CCAS couple works very well, but there is no structure equipped only with GRIFFON. First, it raises the question of integration of other non-Scorpion vehicles within the battle group. A non-digitized vehicle does not exist on the screen, but still exists in the reality. Constancy in the group is essential to gain in performance, but we still have to compose with vehicles from different generations. In the Army, we have the following motto: the value of the group is given by its weakest element. CCAS amplifies the differences. In Mali, we used to work with an Estonian platoon within the battle group. We had to create a specific radio network with them. Its integration was therefore extremely limited. Second question, second challenge is about integration with other CIS. We have seen the beginning of this kind of interoperability with the CIS or the artillery or the helicopters, or with the dismounted communication system. So next challenge is to make all the CIS working together. The last challenge we have on the screen, and I will finish with that, is the challenge of the info management. Information should be provided just as needed. But first, the simplicity of creation leads to increase the production of information. We produce more information. Suddenly, everybody is on the same network, from the colonel to the soldier, which makes it easy to send battle group orders down to the individual level, or at the opposite, to send individual details at the colonel level. In both cases, it is useless and unreadable. There is an intermediate level in CCAS, the captain runs, who is supposed to be the interface between the so-called reflex level and the so-called reflective level. We are in the era of the inflation of orders and the informational bulimania. Everyone wants to know everything. All this requires bandwidth, storage capacities, and archiving and protection system, which are necessarily limited and not achieved at this stage. Only strict procedures can balance these challenges or fall on storage. If not, there are two risks. The first one is technical, the bug that crashed the network and therefore necessary to stop the maneuver. The second one is cognitive saturation. It is to say that the info is no longer digested by the person who received it, so he abandons the system. In conclusion, maneuver with this new second Griffon couple was a very great experience, already much more efficient than the former generation. We fulfilled the mission thanks to its great capacities. We are now looking forward to take the challenges of the integration and the info management. This concludes my intervention. Thank you for your attention, and I give the floor again to Lieutenant Colonel Stéphane.
So, what next? As the Lieutenant Colonel Emmanuel explained, the Griffon gave a lot of good feedback. Of course, we encountered some technical facts during this operation, but most of them were already known and under treatment with a technical mastery between DGA and industrials. Only some of them were new and specific to this theater, like, for example, the set's deterioration with sand. And as I mentioned, they were specific to this theater, specific to the missions they do with these vehicles, and specific to the environment of the Saharan Strip. It's why the French Army wanted to send Griffon in an operational evaluation in cold environment. And you have to bear in mind that we have more than 300 vehicles in use in France. Soldiers are training on them. They are getting feedback on this through this training. And we've got processes to collect the technical facts, to filter them, to prioritize, and to treat them. So all this feedback led to technical evolutions and new functionalities that will be covered in an incremental approach to improve the equipment. Thank you very much, and let's go if you have some questions.
Thank you for the sharing. I'm from the Singapore Army, and I would like to just understand whether there were any challenges that were faced when they used the command variants of the Griffon in terms of planning, and how, what were the challenges that we had in the situational awareness of the forces inside the command variant? What were the challenges that were faced when the commanders were inside the command variant of the Griffon vehicles in terms of situational awareness, planning, information overload?
You will have some answers in the next presentation, but I can give you a few words if needed. Yes. At the battle group level, the command posts all Griffon are seeing the reality through a screen, and they are blind, and we have no all the reality is seen through computers, and the command post has to be aware that the reality could be different that you see on the computers. It was your question? Yeah. Because when the more you are, the less you can see the reality, because you have screen, you have many things between you and the reality. Thank you very much for attending, and we will still be here if there is question just for us. Thank you.